Okay, we're on. Okay, we're on. Are you gonna read the poem?
Yep. Okay. So the first poem is First Kiss, and it goes like this. This collision of teeth, of tongues and lips is like feeling for the door. In a strange room, blindfolded, he imagines he knows her after 4 dates, both of them taking pains to laugh correctly, to make eye contact, to make eye contact. She thinks at least this long first kiss postpones the moment she'll have to face. 4 white walls, the kitchen table, it's a bowl of dried petals and nutmeg husk. The jaunty yellow vase with one jaunty bloom, the answering machine's one bloodshot eye. So that was the first poem.
Cool. So what images are important
Thank you.
in this poem?
Should we discuss do we have to really read the question and then do the answer? Can we just do it all in one go?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
definitely.
Like, okay. Yep.
So let's just then talk about the important images and the things that are described, how they're described, why, and why describe them in this way, share about our feelings and how it affects the message of the poem, and how it helps the poem make a point about an issue or theme. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's just do all of that.
Should I start? Or what?
Yeah, you can start.
Okay.
Okay. Um, so this poem kind of relates to all of us because I know we all had our first kiss experience, and I know uh, maybe it was good or it was bad, but anyways, um, the image that stood out for me most was maybe the first few lines where it says a collision of teeth, of tongues and lips is like feeling for the door in a strange room blindfolded. Um, so uh, just a second. The reason I like this line because it's kind of like simile. Um, it's kind of like a simile, and it relates to all of us during our teenage years. And um, most of us we don't know what our first kiss is gonna be like, or how it or when it's gonna happen. But um, mm, yeah, and the next line, like when you continue down, where it says um he imagine he knows her, but he just imagines he knows her, but he doesn't know her that well because they just had 4 dates. um Both of them taking pains to laugh correctly, to make eye contact. So they're just on their dates, they just they trying to impress one another, but by making eye contact and laughing correctly, like trying not to show who they really are and just trying to be who maybe the guy wants them to be or the girl wants them to be. Um, the moment she left the face, four white walls. And in my mind, the four white walls is maybe like after she gets married. I don't know. And when I first read this poem and I came across the answering machine's one bloodshot eye, I thought that they were talking about maybe she had someone punched her in the face and she had a black eye or something. But then when I read it again, I think it meant the answering machine's the blinking red eye on the answering machine. And yeah, I don't actually know how to explain about poems. That's all I can say about this poem, The Collision of. Thank you. If I remember something, then I'll just say it in between. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, for me,
Oh,
sorry, I will
so
start.
the last. Oh, sorry. No, you go.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, one word that is very important in the poem First Kiss is the word collision, because a collision is like an accident. It's a clash between two things. There's an impact, and so it goes well with the title First Kiss. And when we read the whole text, we can understand that the boy and the girl were had been dating for four times, so still new, and like they're not professional in love, and so and you can see that the relationship is kind of awkward when you read the words. Both of them taking pains, so it was painful to do what? Wait, they said about two things, to laugh. So maybe they were not good at cracking jokes, not a good sense of humor, and also to make eye contact. So it was that's a hard thing also to do. Look at somebody, and so maybe they just decided, all right, it's been 4 dates now. I think we have the right to kiss, right? Holding hands, hugging, it's okay. But let's do something more, something, something new. And so they had the first kiss, and it was a collision. So maybe it didn't go very well the first time, and so and the way this makes me feel is like it just reminds me of my first girlfriend and the first kiss with her. It was weird. She started it. She started. I didn't start. I was too shy.
Boys
Look,
are supposed to make the first move. Joke. Continue.
She says joke, but she's not joking.
Yeah, I remember it was hard also for me to make eye contact with her, and it's just funny. It's just like me, you know. Yeah, and yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you.
For your first kiss stories. The image I thought was the best was Bloodshot Eye. What does that one say? Like exactly. The answering machine's one bloodshot eye, and what's described and how they're described. I thought it was cool because it's it's the first thing, or not the first, but it's in the first picture she'll see after the kiss, because she'll like rush back into her house, and it's gonna be dark, and so she's gonna see the dark room and the only things, and she's noticing like these little things, and I think like it's supposed to be either like a happy make it take it like break it moment, like either she's happy and this is the first thing to work out, so it wouldn't matter what she sees now. So I'm thinking it was a good, successful kiss, and then that's why they're describing what she sees, because it's like the first picture that might have been what she saw when she met her potential husband, story she could tell to her kids. Um, and I think the way that they describe the phone, I like how they described it, because it made me feel like your eyes get bloodshot when you stay up, anticipating when you can't sleep. And they've been dating for 4 dates. Um, the fact that they took turns laughing makes me feel like their jokes weren't funny, or they were just too tense, and so they needed to get past this before they were actually dating, and so they were both waiting to just kiss once, and then and it's cool that it's an answering machine, because now that's what, like, now we want to see how they answer to what was done, and and how they will take responsibility from there on. So it helps to make the poem. Um, I think the point or the issue or the theme was that we're kind of like robots until we get to this point, because we're doing everything by the book, and like they were, the way they explained how they were dating, they weren't really getting to know each other. They were getting to know who shows up to the first couple dates, and so and that's what I love about it's really just a bloodshot eye that I thought was just sums all of that up nicely, because it's a restless chore dating each other until this point. That's my thoughts.
Thank you.
Sorry if that was
Thank
hard to
you.
hear.
No, I heard you properly.
Okay.
Thank
Cool.
you, guys. So, next poem?
Yes.
Yeah, do you want to read it, or do you want to like take turns reading them?
Yeah, you guys can read it if you wanna. So, who wants to read the next one? Okay.
Okay, next one is Ozymandias.
Whichever one you read.
Yeah.
All right, I will read then Ozymandias. I don't know how to pronounce it. I just say it like that. So, I start. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold comment tell that its sculpture well those passions read, which yet survive, stand on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed, and on the pedestal these words appear: My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away." Woo! It's hard to read. Okay. Well, the image that I mean, the important image I get from this is like, I think it's a monument. So they describe it with two legs, which has no upper body part, Maybe the main body just fell down with over time or because of the wind. I don't know what happened. Maybe a war. And next to those two legs on the sand, you have uh, a face with visage. And visage is a French word, you know. Yeah. In
Oh,
French,
really?
in French we say visage. Yeah. So it means face. Yeah. And so, and then we learned that the name of that monument. So it's I don't know if it's oh yeah, it says it's a king. So his name was Ozymandias, and so apparently Ozymandias was the king of kings. Wow. And then his words are, "Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair." So I guess he's telling anyone who crosses his monument, anyone who passes uh, by his statue to just look at his work. And then I looked up the definition of just two words that I couldn't understand very well, and I thought it was important, like wrinkled lip and sneer of cold comment. So, uh, but the word, oh yeah, oh sorry, it was also frown, right? Yeah, there's always frown. Yeah, so frown, it means it shows a disapproval, disagree, or displeasure. So it might have been someone who was maybe very harsh, strict, a strict king. I don't know if he was wicked, no idea about that. And sneer, it says sneer of cold comment. So sneer is mocking, so mocking smile. And maybe he was a bit sarcastic for the king. Yeah, and maybe maybe like this guy was not important. I don't know. Anyway, and so the way it makes me feel, um, this whole poem is like I don't know if this is a joke or if this is true or is it just a fairy tale, because it was just really the first sentence. Someone, I mean the writer met a traveler, and a traveler like might know a lot of things, but then you never know if it's true or not. So, but the way this whole thing relates to the main to the poem, the main message, I will say, uh, who really was Ozymandias beside being a king and kings? Was he God? I don't know. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
Okay.
Oh. So what I was thinking of was the image that I took was like, look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. And how ironic that was, because he thought himself, because I think it was like a king who thought he was like the man, king of kings. So he had this statue made, and then right after that they got conquered, and the statue is the only thing that's left. So like he's saying like, look on my works, ye mighty, and despair, and all it is this half sunken face with this like got you face on it, and he's not remembered. Like no one remembers him. He just got conquered so fast, and so that was the like you get to see the irony, because he's reading those words like, look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. This super confident, cocky, prideful king, and then the next line is like, nothing beside remains. He has nothing that survived up to now. And it's not even like a popular site where everyone knows that he has nothing. He had to hear this from a traveler. So it's like even less important. Like this guy made no impact on history at all besides this poem, if he actually existed. And so yeah, well, I think why it's important to describe these things is no matter how good we think we are, no matter how much we think we're going to make an impression on the earth, time is the only thing that determines that, and uh, and it gets the best of us. And like the harder, what is that? Like pride comes before the fall, and the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And this guy had a kingdom that was supposed to make people feel jealous, and the only way we know that is from his words, and there's nothing left. And so I think it kind of makes us feel like sad for him because nothing survived, and also just how mortal and how insignificant we are, because even this king in history couldn't leave something behind except for this like half statue that is really not famous. It's more infamous because it's a bad thing to be known for. And I think the issue or a theme that it brings is that making history is harder than it looks, and uh, and it was just out from those words. Look on my works, ye mighty in despair, and then nothing beside remains. Those are my thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I really like what you both said. Especially about um the like it kind of reminded me of the mummies. You know how they always bury the kings in Egypt. They always bury themselves with their treasures so that because they think that their treasures will go with them to heaven, but it doesn't. So after how many years, when we dig them up, it's it's still there with their rotting, mummified body. And so yeah, like this story is like this point is like it's kind of like based in Egypt, because of all the because usually in Egypt is all these statues of kings and gods, their gods that they worship and stuff. Um, so for me, in this poem, the thing that stood out for me was the imagery. There was a lot of things that stood out for me, but yeah, I also like the one in lines line 4 in line 5. And wrinkle lip and sneer of cold command. Also, line 4 was good. Half sunk, a shattered visage lies whose frown. So it just goes to show that this guy or this person, he was a very kind of like Hitler maybe, or like a person who is like in charge. Like he was a very cold person. Um, because the traveler, he said that he could read the passions on his face, on the statue's face. Um, and he um and he had said that it like the sneering, the way he sneered, it's as if he's frowning down at the people or at whoever. Um, and it makes him look like he's powerful. He's the ruler. Um, And another thing was like what you had both said. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Even though he is a king and everything, but as years go by, people won't remember him, even though his name is written on stone. They would remember him because of his name written on the stone, but other than that, they wouldn't remember what he had done, his works and stuff, unless they were good. But if they were bad, I think people would have just forgotten about the things about him and stuff. You might be in despair. Uh, yes, that's all I can say about the images. I hope it's I hope it's related to the images. If not, yep, that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll read the last one.
Yes.
All right. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach when feeling out of sight. For the ends of being and ideal grace, I love thee to the level of everyday's most quiet need by sun and candle light. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with the passion to put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with the love I seem to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life, and if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death. Wow, I read that really bad, but yeah, that's what it says. Um, and the one that stuck out to me the most, the image was I love thee freely as men strive for right. And I like the way that they have that metaphor because um, the two things that I think are like super important in life is freedom to choose um, and our right to choose, I guess. So just how that's agency and that's supposed to be like God's greatest gift. And then I can think of so it sounds like God's greatest gift to us is love. And so the person speaking, God's greatest gift to them, or the whole reason for agency, is so that the speaker can love whoever this is being written to. And and I think the reason why they describe like that is because after all the wars that we've seen, we know that's something worth dying for, and that's better than saying like I would die for you. But it's because it's like you will determine like generations and generations from now. You will leave a lasting impression more than Ozymandias' statue, and it paints a lot more. It paints like this huge picture with just those few words. It's just like I love thee freely as men strive to fight. And I think the issue or theme that that it makes a point on, that the poem is trying to make a point on, is that I love you more than just one generation. Like this love is kind of like eternity, and it's the only decision worth making because it's the only decision that lasts for an eternity. So it made me kind of weep for those who had to like arrange marriage or stuff like that. Um, but it makes me feel like if this person was in an arranged marriage, they were willing to like do whatever it took to be with this person instead. Um, or better yet, if they were in an arranged marriage and learn to love their spouse, then it makes this like writing this and reading this would make that person feel like even though it just happened this way, I'd still fight for this to happen. I don't know. It's what I thought was the most romantic line. That's it.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Tevita.
Should
Okay,
I
I
go?
will talk. All right.
Me?
So,
Oh,
oh, me. Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so I also like think like you, Tevita, when where you talked about the freedom to choose. Yeah, I really saw that when where he says men strive for right. It makes me think of the French Revolution when they were fighting against the king and his soldiers to get their own freedom, and then they wrote all the rights. And it's the same thing with love. You cannot stop someone from loving another person. You know, we all have agency. You have the right to love whoever you want to love. No one can decide that for you. And I like the way the poem starts. You know, how do I love thee? And that's very romantic. Yeah, I know that girls they like to hear how much the boyfriend or fiance or husband love them. They like to hear every details, every words, and you have to use each time a new word. They don't want to hear the same things. The more words you have to describe your love for them, and the more the girl will love you. And that's why I know a lot. I learned a lot of love songs. So well, I can just sing all the love songs I know because it has many words. And so also like where like he says on the fourth line for the ends of being and ideal grace. Yeah, I like it how they capitalized the word being, so B and G for grace, being and grace. So being makes me think of to be or not to be. Makes me think of sometimes we talk and talk, we say things, we make promises, we 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 self praise, but while in reality we are not what we claim to be. That happens a lot. I like to do this also with my wife because I'm not honest. I'm just joking with her, teasing. I do that a lot. Yeah, telling her things about who I someone that I'm not. And then ideal grace. When I think of grace, I think of the grace of God, His mercy, forgiveness, and all those things. And so I can feel from the poem that the guy is quite humble. He does admit that he's not perfect. He's not a perfect being. He doesn't have perfect grace, forgiveness. So, and that happens a lot. And I also like the last sentence. That's like a very wonderful conclusion. Last words. I shall but love thee better after death. So it's to me it's like related to gospel when we teach about eternal marriage. And so it's like he's saying, I'm not sure if he intended that, but it's like he's saying after death we will be together and there will be no more work on like nothing will stop us from living our dream being together after death because like for them I think the author of this poem is not a church member. And so maybe that person thought of after death it will be peaceful and no stress, no jobs, no schools anymore, nothing to worry about. And so he's just saying that, there will be only love, and I'll be able to love you better after death because we'll be together. I mean, that's the way I feel about the poem. And yeah, that's what I can say.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I love the words that you guys had said, the freedom of choice, the freedom to love, and agency, and love after death, which is sealing in the temple, celestial marriage, and temple marriage, and all that. And yeah, the sentence that also stood out to me was, "How do I love thee? Let me count the ways." I really love that sentence because um, I know that there are a lot of people out there who's also searching for love. And love it's not only between two people, it's also like within a family. Um, your love can also be shown by sharing, by giving, and yeah, your love can be shown in many ways. But specifically in this poem, it talks about the love between two people, I think. Yeah, between two people, because it says, "I shall but love thee better after death." Um, I love how this person had described the love that he or she has for the other person. Um, and it's not only, she didn't, I think it's a she didn't only describe it in one, like in one way, one sentence, but like there's various sentences and various way that she loves whoever it is that she's talking to. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height. My parents side with the pins of idle grace, I love to the every days. I love how she had said, "I love thee purely," as they turn from praise. So the love that she has for whoever it is pure. Um, and that means like it's not tainted or anything. Like whoever she loves is like pure and wholeheartedly. Um, and she loves that person freely. So there's no one there to stop her. Like I think her parents are okay with her loving whoever that person is. And I love thee with a passion put to sea. So in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith, I love thee with a love I seem to lose. Um, so maybe this person, when they were growing up, like she must have received a lot of love in her life, right from when she was small until she grew up, because it says, "And with my childhood's faith." So right from when she was small till she grew up and she found love, she always had that love within her wherever, and she always shared that love with whomever. But this is with my lost saints, I love thee with a breath, smile, tears of all my life, and if God choose, I shall but love thee better than death, better after death. Um, I shall but love thee better after death. So, uh, yeah, I think this person is not a member. I shall but love thee better after death. Um, kind of like say, well, at least they believe in the afterlife, like after death. He or she's gonna love the person better than the way he loves her here on earth in the next life. And yes, I really love this poem because like most of the sentences starts with, I love thee freely, I love thee purely, I love thee with passion, I love thee to the death. Wow, that's a lot of like emotion and a lot of like going out, like saying her innermost feelings to whoever it is. And yep, that's all I can say about this poem.
Thank you.
Thank you so
That
much,
was
everyone.
great, guys.
Alright,
Mahalo
I'm gonna
and
okay.
enjoy the weekend, everyone.
I'm gonna okay. Yeah.